Hey guys, thanks for checking out Flight by Faith. If you're new to this channel, my name is Daniel and this is my beautiful wife Rachel. And in August of 2018, we left our lives in Atlanta, Georgia to pursue working full-time with an organization called Helimission. And Helimission is a nonprofit that uses helicopters in some of the most remote areas of the world for purposes like disaster relief, medical evacuation, for flying in food and medical supplies, and doctors and nurses, all in an effort to serve those in need. And we've had this channel, Flight by Faith, up and running for about 2.5 months now. And I've spent a lot of time explaining my background, where I came from, and where we're looking forward to going. But I wanted to take this opportunity to let Rachel share her story with you. Everything from her backstory, because even though we've only been on this preparation process, the path to the preparation process, for about 1.5 years now, the reality is this journey started years before we ever even met individually for both of us. And there's been a lot of challenges for her along the way, as there have for me. And there's a lot of unknowns going forward. And so I wanted to allow her to just have the opportunity to be able to share that with all of you. And so with that, babe, I'm going to give you the floor. And what was it that started all of this journey for you? Because I know that this started long before you and I ever even met.
Yeah, actually, I was pretty young, I would say, when this all started for me. Even though there wasn't a tangible organization that I was going with, I knew all the way back in 8th grade that I wanted to eventually be serving overseas. Like I said, I just didn't know how or what avenue, but that was something that I held on to all of high school and even college. I remember looking up on my laptop before starting college and saying, I don't want to go to college. I just want to go serve around the world and meet these people. And it wasn't the right timing for many different reasons. So I went ahead to college, got my bachelor's degree. But again, I never lost sight of wanting to serve. So took that all the way through when I met you when I was 22 years old.
Yeah, so I think that was one of the initial things that actually really attracted me to you, was your compassion in your heart. So speaking of the night we met, or speaking of our initial meeting, tell me about the night that we met, because the funny thing is that Helimission actually came up on our first date.
Yeah, so our first date was almost magical, like fairy tale, which I'm really not into the whole fairy tale thing, but I feel like looking back it really was. So I know we went to dinner and you were at a point where you're just like, I'm writing off dating unless a girl is serious about going overseas with me, because you already knew that you wanted to go with Helimission. So I remember you telling me just matter-of-factly, this is what Helimission does. This is what I want to do. I'm a pilot. And I mean, it was very direct. And at the end of it, you just said, and you probably think I'm weird. And I said, no, I held your arm just like this. No, I don't think you're weird at all. I'm tracking with you. And so it was after that, we didn't want to leave each other's sight. We kept finding reasons to make the date keep going on, because we knew right then that we would spend the rest of our life together. I mean, first date.
Yeah, I agree. I always heard about the whole idea of meeting the one that you want to spend the rest of your life with and knowing right away. And I always wrote that off as a fairy tale, but needless to say, when we first met, it happened. And I just remember once I saw how compassionate of a heart that you had, and your willingness to pursue something like Helimission, where you would use your gifts to serve others. I knew immediately that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you. So that was in October of 2014. I actually remember the night very well. Fast forward, we dated for about 1.5 years, and then we ended up getting married. And about 1 year later, we decided, okay, we're really going to take this seriously and put this into motion. And I remember in June of 2017, we flew overseas, went to Switzerland, which is where Helimission is obviously based, and sat down with them about what our future would look like, which is to basically talk to them about what the next steps were and what all of this would look like. And I remember specifically right away, even though this was something that you knew you wanted to do, you kind of had some things that you were wrestling over in the very beginning.
I was hesitant.
just tell me what was going through your mind and what was going through your heart specifically during that time. Was it really challenging for you, or was it just some things that you needed to process, or what did that look like?
All of the above. So I think the reason that was so hard for me is that while I knew that this is what we were going to do, I loved my life so much. I was working in youth ministry. I loved the kids. I loved the people I worked with. I loved the company I worked with. Everything in my life seemed to be great. It was stress-free, and I loved it. And so giving that up for me was hard. It felt like a part of me was genuinely dying, and I went through a grieving process, coming to terms with, okay, I know I've talked about going overseas, but now this is really happening, and I have to leave all these other things that I really love to do so. So it was just it was a wrestling of like, I know long term, this is something that I want to do, this is something I need to do, I have to do, but I also have to give all this other stuff up, which caused a lot of sadness, but it was also very joyful at the same time.
And so, yeah, we did, needless to say, have an amazing life. We both had good jobs, a wonderful community, a lot of good friends, and to give all that up, I agree, was incredibly difficult. So over the years, we've also met a lot of other people that, I'd just say a handful of other people that are doing what we are hoping to do in the future. And one of the things that has often been brought up, and I know that you're seeing this as well, and this is what I want you to elaborate on. One of the things that a lot of the pilots that are doing similar work with their wives talk about is how it's very clear what the husband is going to be doing. He's going to be flying, he's going to be doing maintenance. And so when you talk to people and you share that with people, it's obviously very tangible what the husband is going to be doing. But one of the things that they all talk about, that the women struggle with in particular, is that really you kind of, in a lot of ways, don't know what you're going to be doing, but you also have to find your place. And I know that moving forward, even though we're not there yet, that has been really challenging for you at times because of the fact that you don't really know fully what you're getting yourself into. And would you mind just elaborating on that a little bit?
Yeah, that has been hard, but at the same time, I know where my gifts are, and I know that there are a lot of needs overseas. Now, that's not to say that I think that I'm going to go in and be some hero. The idea is to go and just live normal life there. So I think that my gifts are working with women or working with children. I would love to work in an orphanage or a children's home or start my own after-school program or something along those lines. And I know that there's needs, plenty of needs for all those things once we're over there. I can't say for sure this is what I'll be doing, but I don't think if you have gifts and you're willing to use them, then they will be used. And as long as you have the drive and tenacity to do something about it.
All right, and so you actually just kind of answered the next question that I wanted to ask you, but I feel like it would still be very beneficial to answer it directly because I know that you get this question a lot, and I know that there's also, so you already know what I'm about to ask, and so I also know that there's a lot of challenges for you in answering that question at this point in this journey. But with that being said, we already kind of have an idea of what I'm going to be doing overseas. What are you going to be doing when we are overseas?
Yeah. The hard part about answering that question is that I don't really know, but I do know that I have gifts in certain areas and I am a very relational person. The idea is to build life with these people just like you would if you moved to another state in the United States. So that's what I think whenever I go overseas, once I start building relationships with people, I think that there will be opportunities that open up for me to serve locally. And I've struggled with that a couple times, being like, okay, well, should I go back and get my English teaching certificate? Should I go get some sort of health certification because I love health? I'd want to be able to help in the local hospital. But all of those things I think will be answered in time, and I am very confident in that. I think as long as I have the drive and the will and the desire to want to do more, which I do, I know that doors will be opened for me to serve.
So this is something that I actually wasn't planning on saying, and I don't want this to sound superficial whatsoever or scripted or anything like that, because this is just me sharing my heart. But I honestly do not think I could do what my wife is doing. And what I mean by that is, yeah, leaving your careers for both of us was hard. Yeah, moving away from home was difficult in pursuing this. But I have an idea of what I'm going to be doing, and so I can latch on to that in the future and just run towards it, because it's kind of tangible at this point. But for her, babe, I have to say I have so much admiration for you for that, because I don't think I could do what you are doing. Are there any other challenges that you've been dealing with that you would just like to share, or maybe some of the joys? I mean, let's focus more on the good, but some of the joys that you've experienced in the year and a half that we've already been away. And the reality is we're not even there yet. This is still the preparation process. Is there anything else on your heart that you'd really like to share in that regard?
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm so thankful, as hard as this year and a half has been. I think that it's been great for our marriage in a lot of ways. So I'm very thankful for that. I think if we would have gone straight from our jobs in Atlanta to moving overseas, we would have had a lot of hard lessons to learn. And so it's been good, just kind of having this buffer and being able to learn slowly but surely how to communicate better, how to we understand each other better now. So I'm thankful for that. Another thing that I am very joyful about is just some of the relationships that I built along the way. They've been very meaningful. So it's nice having, it kind of stinks that your relationships in town are so short, but it's great to
short in the context of how long you're going to be with them.
Right, yes, like physically you're not able to visit with them because, we're moving around. However, I think it's very rewarding to have friendships that will last a lifetime, that go with you wherever you are.
Yeah. So, guys, we hope that just gives an insight to you into Rachael and to Rachael's heart and to some of the struggles and the joys that we have both gone through, but more specifically what she's gone through. And so we just want to thank you again for all of your love, support, and encouragement. And so we hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Come on, babe, do your little thingy. See you guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you'd like to follow us in this journey, please hit the subscribe button below. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. The links to both are in the description.
Flight by Faith is 100% donor supported. If you would like to partner with us in this endeavor, please go to flightbyfaith.org/give.